Sabbath greetings. Well, today's message for a word for the world.net doesn't come from some walking in a morning paradise, although it's still early. It's 7 o'clock on the clock. God's in all places and all things. We don't have to travel far, or we don't have to travel at all to find a place where He is. However, I feel like being honest today and opening up and showing where I am, because perhaps if you just look at the passing trees and the rising sun and the beauty of the Manukau Harbour and the birds and the seals and all those things that go Sabbath morning after Sabbath morning, you might lose sight of the thread of my surrender and the cost. This is the place where I live. This is the bed that I sleep in, the office that I work in, the workshop, that I try and make a living in. Just a place where I'm educated, and also occasionally that I lift up idols and take down idols. My home. I live in a garage. My old home, the place where I used to live, is opposite the garage. House that I was blessed with. Miraculously blessed. I mean, if you ask anybody in Auckland if you can rent a house in 2 days in Auckland, they'll say no, it's impossible. Well, you've just seen one that was rented in 2 days. Through an agent and through prayer. In that story as well is a tale of dishonouring God. It was only in the return of honouring God, I believe, that we were fashioned with some sort of home to move into. Previously, the tenants of the previous house we were in, had sat around a table and we'd said a prayer to God, and in that prayer we'd made requests. We'd made requests for a cheaper house. We'd made a request for a house that was closer to our places of work, and we worked in different places. And God answered that prayer, and there was a house about 2 miles away from here. It was closer to the motorway. It had better facilities and nice neighbours, and it was cheaper. It answered all the prayers and gave us more. And yet, as I've related before, in the days that followed, in the hours that followed, getting hold of that house or making application on that house, we all dishonoured God. Everybody in that house, everyone who'd been party to that prayer, in one way or another, dishonoured the Lord. Including me. I lied on the application form. I'm smiling and telling you this. It was not a good thing. The thing that struck me in the moment I sent the application form off is why. I've seen miracles of bureaucracy. I don't need to cover anything up. My partner, I was facing visa difficulties, and I thought it might make a negative impact on the application. So I lied about it. I'm not going into details of the other people's, but they similarly dishonoured God, and we lost the house. This isn't a tale of God being cruel. This is a tale about people honouring God. It's about who we need to be and what we need to do when we come before the Lord. It's right. Only right. Somebody else who honoured God needed that house more than we did. And I thank God for it. I thank God for the lesson of it. He didn't smite us. And if anything, in the days that followed, because we had then, we had the move book, the trucks book, any extension of our time in the house we were in would have meant another month's rent, financial implications. We were up the creek without a paddle. People fled. I'll go my own way. Oh, thanks. My decision was to get down on my knees and say sorry. And I'm not telling you this to boast. I'm telling you this as an example, as a testimony to the goodness of God. And with the clock ticking and a few days remaining, I had to pick up the stuff and look. And I looked, and I came to see this house on the Wednesday. I came and I saw this house, and it was a nice house. It was dearer. It was further away. It would be a blessing if we got it. And I sat at the gates. There's a little rise out towards the gate and a short drive down onto the road. And I sat in my car and I looked towards the house. And at the end of the house, there's a room kind of set off from the rest of the house. It's not a sleep out, it's still connected. But as I prayed, I made a commitment to God. I said, Lord, if you give us this house, I will dedicate that room to you. In the previous house we had a chapel space. It was a space of prayers, a space that I honoured. It was prayed in. Other pastors had come in and prayed in and honoured that space and dedicated that space to God. And the fruit was incredible. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Just amazing. Not me, him. All him. And although it would reduce the number of rooms that we could rent out or the number of rooms we could share in the house, it's something we've done from the outset. Psalm 133 is the intention to share. The result was that we shared with other people. I won't go into that, but I prayed that prayer. And it went through. We moved in. 48 hours from there, we had access to the house. We had keys. Contracts were signed and exchanged. And we could move the house from the house we were at to here through all sorts of difficulties. A modern day miracle. And that's where we live. This is where I live. As you know, and you probably don't, because not many people, nobody watches it. If you know anything about what's happened since then, there's been a journey of continued surrender for me. Personally, fruits of that now. The truth is that since then I've lost my job, been through medical difficulties, got married, Got married first. Got divorced. I had to move out of here. I had to move out of the whole house for several months. It's the only way that I could justify letting the sanctuary, giving it up. I couldn't. Didn't want to. But there was no financial alternative. Well, believe me, we've prayed and wanted and asked and looked to the Lord. Made job application after job application. My CV, my employability has been rubbished. Education, strangely, relies heavily on the reference of your previous employer, which is the headmaster of your previous school. I use the word headmaster. With a title only. And through this one person, I can't get a job. I can't get a teaching job. And what for said, I'm saying that the Lord can provide, the Lord gives, and the Lord takes away. That there's no accident that I'm here. I'm thankful. My walk with the Lord has been closer than it ever has been before. My trust, my relationship. What's been tested is everything else. I can't really say why I've come on this morning, to humble myself, I suppose, to try and bring into context, into view, the fact that, yes, I can be out there proclaiming and claiming the things and the words of God. This is the reality of who I am and where I live. I might make boats and I might make claims. I might put the Jewish calendar as a background for the clock that I fix. Mender of broken things. As my ex-wife says, oh, you can fix anything. Well, I tell her I can't mend a broken heart. Only God can make us whole. Only Jesus can release us from the fetters and the bonds and the chains. Only He can make a way for us in the desert. Financially, I'm ruined. I can't support from this week to the next. I've done what I can. I have things on sale that would if sold, would more than support us. I'm available as a designer. I'm available as a cleaner. I'm available as a host. Something still stands in the way. I don't know what it is. I look within, I look without, I try, I cry out, I cry out. I try and minister the faith, share the gospel. I get mocked and sniggered at behind my hands. The people who I speak to face, turn away and go their own way. I criticise others for being insincere or proud or arrogant. I want to found a church, a prayer card that reminds me of the things that I've seen, the dreams that I have. Join me, I ask. Join me, I pray. Because if it's just one person, no matter how gifted, no matter how special, I don't mean special in the clumsy oaf sort of a way. I know God's blessed me many, 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 many times with many things, with skills and abilities and blessings, with like magical, unexplainable, mysterious stuff. I know people that have worshipped God without any tangible manifestation of God other than the, this is the sun rising and the sun setting, which is splendid enough, But in terms of the walking and talking and the manifestation of God, they just walk in faith for years and years and years. Just walk in faith. They walk in faith for years and years and years, and it is amazing, amazing to see, wonderful to see, beautiful to see, incredible, incredible faith. And I've had stuff showered on me, blessings, pictures, offspring, words of power, authority. And I don't share this to go, I do want to cry out. I cry out to God for a world that is lost, that's turned away. I've torn my clothes, I've worn sackcloth and ashes, and I'm preaching to angels. I have the two swords. Carry the fight. If there's nothing else to do in this hellhole, I'll fight and I'll proclaim the name of Jesus. And I'll fight till my last breath, and I'll fight until I'm chopped up and cut in pieces, crushed under the feet and boots of scoffers and idolaters. Oh, well, you said that you're an idolater. Yeah, well, I have things to work on, things that I try and work on, all this mess. I surrender myself at the feet of the Lord. I humble myself before him. And some of you will say, well, let your God save you then. And I'll say, may he save you first. The Church of Carpe Cruxis, I pray for that building opposite Auckland Hospital, a place that would be a place of discipleship, a place of outreach into the hospital, a place of housing for some of the men and women who are homeless in Auckland, a place of fellowship and a place of teaching. I pray for that site in Kelston, the abandoned church, that also too could be open its doors to become a place and a house of worship and blessing for God's glory. Global Fellowship. Well, there are places for Kaiser and Ramesh, the orphanages and leprosy homes in India, Nepal, Pakistan. For the ministries in England and America that need help, and those that I don't see, South Africa, China, Japan. Nine Design would have clients, talented designer, inspired, in heaven's name, design. I told you I'm an oaf, clumsy. Oh, but the Lord is elegant, a craftsman. He makes things of unparalleled beauty. To show forth, not that he's showing off, but because he just delights in who he is, he delights in who we are, he delights in the things that he's made, the creation. The very least of it is more beautiful than anything a man's hand can fashion. He still delights for us to make clumsy works, filthy rags, for his glory. I design unique clients. And then for this house that we let, whether it's a bed and breakfast, we've got it on A Place of Peace, auckland.weebly.net. No, A Place of Peace, auckland.weebly.com. And it truly is a place of peace. I mean, yeah, I have difficulties, yeah. The gym's not finished, and there's plenty of work to do for my hands. If I could just be set at rest. But there's transport and blue skies. A welcoming door. Yeah, you can see through there. A lounge, a living room with a fire. Children to play around your feet. A garden, you can join me in the upkeep of that if you want. There's a place to explore. Manukau Harbour. Pukitutu Island, volcano. An upper room to live in and a sanctuary. Yad Ho, ruler of the night. Yad Ho, ruler of the day. Spiritual. God is good. I pray that the place gets let too. I don't mind letting stuff go. It's all material. I had a car on HP as my previous car died. And I liked it. It was the nicest car I've ever owned. And then I let it go. Couldn't afford the upkeep. People were stepping up to give me money to keep the car. And you're like, I couldn't afford the upkeep. And for a few months, I didn't need a car. Well, it did affect the business, but you put your hands up and let things go. And God, wow, he held me gently. Said it's time to let this go. And now (1997) Rover which I love and cherish many times more than that beast of a car that I had. Why? Because it's mine and God gave it me. And I don't really want to have it. Wasn't my intent to produce this as an advert for the best, most spiritually blessed bed and breakfast in all of New Zealand. I do open my gates to you. Gates that have the 10 Commandments written on the gatepost. Not for a show, but to honour the one God, the true God, who's able to save this world from the total and terrible mess that it's in. And the doing of that is a return to honour, a return to sanctuary, a return to blessing. And I might have been dragged kicking and screaming. I might have stood and wrestled with the God of Isaac and the God of Israel, the God of the Hebrews, the God of Isaiah, the God of Moses. And so have all of they. And these are the days of Noah, and these are the times of Nineveh. And I ask you to, consider coming. You're going to go on holiday anyway. I know it's far, and I know it's actually the ends of the earth to the people I'm appealing to. What did Jesus do? What would Jesus do? What did he say? Consider this a base. I ask you to consider this as a base or a HQ. To come up the things of the enemy so we can do God can do it. It's all changed. It's all made new. If I seem a bit, I don't know, worn, be aware that I've been fighting this since the day I landed. Be aware that I've been fighting enemy after enemy after enemy, and I've gone up the food chain until the big boys arrived. I've cleared a space. I've gained a ground. I've made inroads into enemy territory. I need help. I cannot do this alone. Oh, go to your God. Let him save you. Why do you think I'm standing still here now? A rallying cry and a call is not out to him who holds us together. It's about fulfillment of the things that he has for us. Where 2 or more are gathered in his name. And the people here, they just haven't got it, whether they come from other parts of the world or whether they were born here. I love them, and you can meet them. They're amazing. If we really want to stick a dagger or two in the devil's strap, I need some of the old guard. I need some unwavering unflinching. Unpretentious servants of the living God to come to my aid. Amen.